Okay. Hi there, everyone. I am not my best. I am actually a fire-breathing dragon today. I am coming to you live because I felt like this would be a perfect teaching moment to show you what not to do and what I have done to cause myself this illness that I am enduring right now. I don't get sick. It's been, I think, 7 or 8 years since I've had anything like this, and I brought it upon myself. I will tell you how. So, sinus infections, that's the subject. It is, I feel like a fire-breathing dragon because I am currently feeling irritable. I am not my healthy best. I am agitated. I am bitchy. I am a fire-breathing dragon. I actually texted my son. I said, if you have any clients you need to get paid from, I am willing to call them because I am just like, I'll pounce on them. So what the heck happened to switch me from a peaceful, loving person to the fire-breathing dragon that I feel like right now? And it is repressed anger. And repressed anger, especially towards a loved one, and it could be a parent, it could be a sibling, it could be a child, it could be a lover, your spouse, but it is definitely someone close to you that you avoided speaking your truth with. And I've talked to you a lot about my mother. My mother is, I'll use my brother's words, a sociopath. She is a narcissist. She has no feeling, no sympathy for anyone else, what you're going through, or no compassion. There's no compassion there. She is not able to experience compassion. And so recently, I called her and she told me I was stupid. And, you know, this is the type of lovely, encouraging words that I hear from my mother. And you may say, well, why are you still contacting her? Good question. She's my mother. She's 97. She's only going to be on the planet, you know, I won't say what I was just thinking, a limited number of years or months. And so I do my best for her, how it is. Here's the truth, is that our parents are picked. We pick them, especially our mothers. I know I picked mine, and what a great pick it was, because she's taught me so much about myself. But here's the thing about not expressing how we feel with someone. And I will tell you exactly what happened. So I hadn't spoken to her in weeks, and I called, and she was irritated. My mother is a stickler for politeness. You could call her a Miss Manners type of person. And she expects, when she gives a gift, she expects a thank you note. And she will tell you point blank, if you don't send me a thank you note, I will not be sending you another gift. And she has done this to all of her grandchildren who now don't talk to her because of how manipulative and controlling that she is. And so I have sent her a thank you note for my gift that she gave me, but she was rude. And the interesting dichotomy here is someone who is a stickler for politeness and being so above board with, oh, you must be mannerly, was rude to me. That's the dichotomy. She was rude to me. I called her. It had been weeks since we'd spoken, and she was absolutely rude to me. I'm watching my show right now, and she has an intense energy about her, and she projected this feeling onto me that it was basically, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you right now. I'm watching my show. And I am a person who loves, I love deeply. And, would you rather have a relationship with your soap opera than with your daughter? Okay. I see how it is, mother. I see how it is, mother. Okay. I'll call you later. And I really, didn't want to. So I started watching a movie, and then she returned my call, which I did not answer. And I probably should have written the letter that I was thinking of writing. I was going to write a letter indicating how weird it is that someone who is so focused on politeness and manners could be so rude to someone calling. If you don't want to talk to somebody, just don't pick up the phone. Don't be rude to them, right? So if I had sat down, gotten my anger out on paper and burned it, I would not have repressed the anger like I did. But I repressed it. I fumed. I was pissed off. However we get when we're angry, and things that are closest to us can trigger us. I have posted all across Facebook my blog about sinus infections, and when we are not able to speak our truth to the person who has angered us, then what we are doing is we are, sucking it up. We're eating our feelings. We're hosing them. We're trapping them inside. We are not releasing them. Emotions are meant to be moved. And when we don't release our emotions, especially those negative ones, anger, sadness is one too. I mean, cry. When you feel sad, cry. But anger can be extremely debilitating. And I have several articles about anger. Your blood pressure can rise. You can have cardiovascular problems. It actually killed my ex-husband when he was rageful, and he never did get over this rage, and it caused his death. So here's the thing about anger. We don't have to say the words to the person. It would be good if you could communicate them. Sometimes, though, the person that we want to say these words to is not going to listen. So what do you do? Well, you could say, I'm really not happy with this situation. I feel very uncomfortable, and I'm very angry with how you treated me. You could say those words. And beyond that, there's probably not a lot you could say. Now, my mother's not willing to listen to, oh, you were rude to me. She didn't want to hear that, because my mother is above reproach. She has to hear about her shortcomings, and she will shut you down in a heartbeat. So she's perfect and everyone else is wrong. You might know somebody like that. And when we have a person like that in our realm, in our field, now it could be a spouse. When it's a spouse and you repress emotions, it can be very challenging. So I'll just tell you a little bit about sinus infection causes inflammation in the sinuses. The anger is, it's here. So pain up here, pain here, pain in the sinus, and then of course coughing and mucus. But beyond that is this tremendous irritability that is under the surface. Why is that? Because you didn't release the anger. So I've got something to share. Let's see. And if you want to know what I've done for myself, I've been taking Zicam. I have taken Airborne. Not a fat lot of good it did after the fact. And then, of course, this elderberry stuff. It's fantastic for coughs, and has nothing addictive in it. But the other thing that I really want to share with you is this one. So I was at Sprouts the other day. It is, let's see if you can see this. Can you see that? Here, it's better. Ooh, the light is not great. Let's see if I can turn it for you. Staphysagria. It sounds like sangria, but it's Staphysagria. And this is for repressed anger, but it is also for wounds that won't heal, like surgery that won't heal. Interesting, right? Wounds that won't heal. So there's a lot of things that we can do for sinus infection and rage. And thing is, you want to get the anger out, punch a pillow, scream, yell, do cathartic screaming, but get it out. I held it in, and consequently, I am paying the price. So this is, it's energy that we can use. I'm using this to finish my book. It's all bullshit. It should be out either by the end of December or sometime early January. So I'm using the energy and cleaning my place and doing all the things that I could possibly do to utilize this energy. And I'm taming my dragon. I'm taking care of me. Neti pot with saline solution in it is wonderful. And like I said, the Sambucol, and I tend to avoid medications wherever possible. I thought that I had pneumonia because my back was hurting from coughing. I've been sweating in the night, and just generally since Sunday. That's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 days. And when I went to the doctor yesterday, I am taking care of myself, and you need to take care of you. It's very important to do so. But the bottom line is you can avoid the sinus infection if you would speak your truth and find a way to say it without swearing or beating the other person up, but express how it is that you are feeling with the way you are being treated without blame. It feels to me, Mother, that you are so polite, are expecting such politeness from others, but you are rude to those who care about you. So something like that, if they would receive it or not, there's not much you can do. But I have a blog. I've posted it all over. I highly recommend you read it. It's a really great read. I can share some of it with you. So, when we fight and argue, here's the thing. The new wave or new age has a tendency to promote that if a relationship has conflict and perhaps fighting, it's not a good relationship. And that's utter bullshit. I just will tell you. There will be conflict in relationships. It's going to happen. To have a relationship where there's no conflict, there's not going to be passion. So yes, you can get along well, you can have great communication, but at some point there will be an impasse, and you need to be able to work through the impasse with communication. It will make your relationship better. It'll give you deeper intimacy. Sex will be better when you're able to communicate how you truly feel. Okay, So when we keep quiet about being disrespected, mistreated, or invalidated, we stuff our emotions that are attempting to arise or surface. And emotions are meant to be moving. Repression creates health issues, and sometimes immediately, which is what happened in my case. So over time, repressed anger can become tumors if left unexpressed, which is why cancer often resurfaces after chemo and radiation. So, chemo and radiation will not cure cancer if you keep in the same mode and don't change the way you think and feel and communicate. And so if you are a doormat and have a tendency to allow yourself to be disrespected and boundaries crossed, and, anger is one of those things that you'll experience when someone crosses your boundaries. And then, passive aggressiveness can be, we go around the back door, and depending on how we were raised, passive aggressive strategies, well, oh yeah, well there, and you slam the door, and it's not an above board way of communication. We avoid eye contact, and rather speaking up for ourselves, we ignore our partners. We turn our back to them in bed. We will refuse to have sex with them, huff and puff, and generally it's a childlike behavior. And so slamming doors, walking away, all of those things are a way to show that you're angry without stating. When you say, or when I hear you say these words, I feel disrespected. I feel quite angry, and it doesn't make me feel good. And so when you say I'm fine, you are suppressing your feelings. So if you're prone to sinus infections, this is something you definitely want to look into. There's mantras in Louise Hay's book that are tremendous. And, fear is part of communication. In relationships, often if you had a fear of angry, scary men, you often attract angry, scary men. It's what I did. And many women are afraid of the men when they yell. And, often our parents had very poor communication. It's the only method for resolving conflict because that's what we learned. We yell at one another. And yelling does not solve anything. We need to be able to speak with an even tone. Okay? And, when we want to be right, there's no winning. So relationships aren't static. They are ever growing and changing. And the more you are able to change and grow and allow, the greater the chance of success will be. Healthy relationships involve listening, open-hearted communication, attacking, yelling, condemning. You hear this? I'm so congested. Your partner will stop listening when they feel attacked. So if I had said to my mother, "You are rude, stop being rude to me," she would have felt attacked. She would have. And so anyway, you can mirror your partner what they've told you so that they know that you've heard them, rather than you do this to me all the time. That'll shut them down in a heartbeat. And so, and when you attack your partner's viewpoint, they'll stop listening. So what you want to do is listen to the person speaking, acknowledge them and their complaint. Repeat what they said. What I hear you saying is that when I am disrespectful to you, it makes you angry. When you cross your boundaries and come into the bathroom when you're in there, it makes you feel disrespected and angry. I'm sorry that you feel this way. I'll do my best not to come into the bathroom when you've got the door closed. Resist the temptation to say, well, you do the same thing. And then it's two children showing up as opposed to two adults. Wait 24 hours before you revisit your grievances. Avoid judgment, sarcasm, and criticism. Okay. So other illnesses that can be caused in resentment, cancer. Absolutely. If you hold resentment in your body, you are the one being harmed. So you need to work through this resentment. These are things that I help my clients do. Depression, which is caused by anger that you feel you don't have a right to have. Arthritis comes from feeling unloved and criticized. Also resentment. And then abscesses. It's basically fermenting thoughts. Sorry about that. Fermenting thoughts about resentment and revenge. That's what abscesses are. And then, of course, one of the things that happens with sinus infections, you get this bad breath too. It's from anger. And so, women have a harder time overcoming. Hang on. Women have a harder time. Everybody's calling me right now. I must be at this vibration and contact Jennifer. Women have a harder time overcoming an emotional reaction than men, and we have a tendency to stuff our reactivity inside. And, men frequently communicate more openly than women do. Men have an easier way about them. They're able to be, straight shooters, where women have a tendency to be backdoor communicators. I'm fine. And that doesn't say anything. It's actually a lie. When you say I'm fine when you're not, it is a lie. And so then, due to our slow processing speed, the more difficult it is for us to get through this anger, then we have this tendency to withhold sex. It's not good. So don't give him the cold shoulder. Don't walk away. If you want to discuss the argument again, don't keep jabbing at him. Don't have makeup sex if you don't feel like it. In fact, what makeup sex can do is, if you have a habit of having makeup sex after an argument, what you're doing is you're training your unconscious mind to create arguments to have sex. It's not necessary. It isn't necessary. All right, my dears. So that is it from the dragon today. This is the dragon coming to you live from Ojai, California. And I am taking care of myself. I've been laying low for quite some time. I am focusing on me. I'm going through a very big shift right now. And, the 2020s are coming. 2020 is coming. The roaring 20s. And so we have a lot of new energy coming in, and I'll be talking about that a little bit more next week. I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll share this. I hope it was helpful to you. Sending you lots of love. I'm Jennifer Elizabeth Masters.